Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Aquarium of the Pacific's Online Academy. My name is Dana, and I'm a member of the education team here at the Aquarium. And today we are going to be doing a really fun program that's centered all around you. That's right, you, right there, hanging out at home, watching us on your screen. Today's program is Ask a Scientist. Now, what that means is we're going to be talking about whatever you ask regarding sharks. So today's topic is Ask a Scientist, Sharks. Now, in order to ask me anything, of course, you have to be able to contact me. So we have this wonderful phone number right here, 562-286-1838. And I have Alicia sitting out at the computer ready to take those texts, those questions, those observations, and pass them into the studio here. Now, Carrie's going to be working behind the computer and controlling all of the magic that you see on the screen behind me. We're going to be exploring Shark Lagoon like we are right now. We're also going to be pulling up some videos from Global Fin Print. They're an organization that we profit with regarding shark research and conservation. And of course, we want to answer all of your questions. So I can talk about sharks for a very long time, but I want to talk about what you are interested in. What are you wondering about sharks, and how can we help you learn as much as possible? So again, text those questions in. Remember that standard texting rates do apply. And if you're younger out there, make sure you have an adult permission before you text in, okay? Now, if you are watching this program after our live stream, which is at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, December 30th, we do have this email address down below. During our live stream, we will be manning the text line. However, afterwards, if you find yourself watching this program, feel free to shoot us an email, ask any questions, anything else that you want to discover about sharks, and we'll get back to you in the next anywhere from day to 2 days after your question comes through. We'll sit down, we'll make sure we give you as much information as we can. So again, we're so excited to have you all joining us. I know that we have some schools joining in, so welcome everyone. Thanks for participating. Teachers, if you're out there, we do ask that throughout the program or at the end of the program, you text us in the number of students you have watching with you, because that can really help us with our kind of monitoring our numbers. So again, thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and talk about sharks. All right, so I'm going to step off the screen and just give you some inspiration for a moment. What we're looking at right now, this is our Shark Lagoon. Now, this is one of our outdoor exhibits here at the aquarium. And something you might notice is that there's a kind of variety of colors that we see going on here, right? It's really light on this side of the screen, and it's really dark way over there. And that's because the way the light passes over this lagoon. But what I want you to do is I want you to just make some observations. What do you notice about the sharks or the fish in here? Remember, we're going to be focusing on sharks today, but sharks are a part of the greater ecosystem, so some of our questions and answers might involve other animals, even parts of their habitat. Now, a little bit of a background on sharks. Sharks are millions of years old. Their teeth can be found in the fossil record up to 450 million years ago. And I love that number, 450, because there are about anywhere from 400 to 450, depending on what source you're using, species of sharks in the world. So they make it real easy to remember those numbers. Thank you, sharks. So again, 400 species of sharks in the world. So I want you all to kind of get an image of a shark in your mind. Now let me guess. Is it gray? Does it have big teeth? Yeah, that makes sense. Pointy triangular fins? Yeah, a lot of us have a very concrete image of sharks in our mind, right? Oftentimes we'll think of a great white shark, or we'll think of a bull shark, right? These are all very, very commonly seen in the media, and so that's sort of where our mind goes. But I want you to watch this video here, and I want you to take note. Do any of the shark species look a little bit different? Do any of the shark species surprise you? We're only looking at 3 species in here. A lot of sharks are gray, but there are 400 species. So trust me, my friends, there are a lot of other different colors which we'll explore throughout the programming here. Looks like we're getting some questions coming through, which is always wonderful. Now, sharks as a group of animals are a part of the fish group. Okay, so what makes a fish a fish? Well, fish don't have lungs like that, right? Fish have gills. They take oxygen out of the water that they are swimming in. So they don't have lungs that pull from the air. They have gills, which are very feathery-like filaments that take the oxygen right out of the water. It's a beautiful image of a great white shark. These are their gills. Now, sharks in general have 5 gill slits. So I want you to think of your goldfish. Do they have 5 slits? No, bony fish, like your goldfish, they have an operculum. It's a bony plate that covers their gills, and there's typically only 1 slit back here, okay? You know when you make a fish face and you go like this? Well, why do we do this, right? That's not the fins. Fins would be right here. These are usually the operculum or gill covers. Now, our sharks, on the other hand, like I said, they have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gill slits. Now, I said bony fish earlier, and that's kind of a weird term, right? A bony fish is any one of our fish in the oceans or our lakes or our rivers that have a bony skeleton inside, just like you and I, okay? Now, sharks, while they are fish, they are different because we refer to our sharks as cartilaginous fish. Now, I've got a question for you. Cartilage. Do we have any of that in our body? I'm not really sure. Oh, wait. That's right, everyone. Our ears, our nose, there's cartilage right there. In fact, even our joints have cartilage. And, ooh, wonderful. We have so many questions coming in. I love it. So our nose, our ears, our joints have cartilage. And if you notice, I want you all to take your ear and now bend it. My ears can bend in half a lot. Check it out. If I do it, I might lose my microphone though. Boop. It's like it's gone, right? Now, I have a bone right here. Could I bend that bone in half? No. I can bend my joints, but remember, I said our joints have some cartilage in it, right? And it's a tissue connection right here. Our bone, on the other hand, is not very flexible. If you're bending your bone in half, you have a lot of other issues that you're going to have to deal with, right? Sharks, however, their entire body is made of that cartilage material, so their skeleton is much more flexible. In fact, it's that flexibility of the cartilage that allows sharks to be such amazing swimmers, amazing predators, right? I had a buddy actually get to dive with great white sharks. Raise your hand if you want to do that. Yeah, 2 hands? Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, Carrie's got 2 hands in the air. All right, we're planning a trip. Okay, so they dove with this great white shark, and they said the most shocking part of being in the water with them was just how quickly they could turn around, right? Because we think of this really big animal as most likely being pretty, they're really big, so they can't turn on a dime. But because of that cartilage, they're very, very flexible. Now, we are getting some questions coming in. I love that. Thank you for participating. One of the questions was, what kinds of sharks live on the East Coast? Great question. So the East Coast of the United States, I'm assuming if you're texting that in, you might be joining us from the East Coast. So hello and welcome. We're happy to have you participating. We're coming to you live from Long Beach, California. Now, the sharks that live on the East Coast, there are a lot of them. Okay, remember I said there's over 400 species around the world. Some examples of East Coast sharks could be the Atlantic blacktip. Now, we also have the Pacific blacktip, right? So there's some species that there's an Atlantic variety and a Pacific variety. There's also the Atlantic sharpnose, spinner sharks, lemon sharks, bull sharks, all sorts of species live off the East Coast. So there's a lot of different variety out there. Now, that's just an example of 5 or 6. You can also get farther over in the Atlantic, you can get Greenland sharks, right? But here in the Pacific, we also have a similar variety. In fact, just right here in Southern California, without really putting thought into it, I can list off 5 to 10 species right off the get-go. So again, I like to tell people that there are both at equal times more sharks in the ocean than they realize and less sharks in the ocean than they realize, right? There's a lot of variety. There's sharks everywhere, but they're not right next to you, so sometimes we forget about it. Now, Olivia wants to know, which is the fastest shark? Great question, Olivia. The fastest shark is the short fin mako shark. They can reach up to 45 miles per hour, which I know when we drive on the freeway, we're typically going much faster than that. But you're a shark swimming through the ocean. Imagine how fast you have to move to be going 45 miles per hour. Imagine the muscles that are working. Now, blue sharks are also pretty close to that. They can go anywhere from 40 to 43 miles per hour. So there's kind of a little shark raceway if you think about it, right? They're fighting for that fastest speed. Great question, though. Again, let's think about the speed of these animals. Why are sharks able to go so fast? I want you to just observe for a moment. How do you notice that these sharks are moving? What helps them move through the water? I like watching them pass like right behind the coral here. Do you see that? We're getting some observations coming in. Yeah, somebody said they're moving with their tail. Now, we call that the caudal fin, okay? We can break sharks down by their fins. That's the caudal fin, and that's their tail, right? Their tail is nice and strong, and it helps propel them through the ocean, right? But it's more than just the shape of their tail. It's also the shape of their body. Sharks have what we call a fusiform body shape, okay? It can also be like a football. It can also be like a torpedo. Anything that helps them slice through the water. Imagine if sharks, ooh, beautiful. We call it hydrodynamic, right? The water can just whoosh right past their body. Imagine if sharks were like square. Yeah, they'd have kind of a flat part coming right at them, right? If you have ever been swimming in a pool, in a lake, in the river, in your bathtub, right? You might find that when you're floating nice and flat on your stomach, and you're swimming like this, you can really move really far forward, right? But what happens if you are going vertical and you're swimming like this? Are you going very fast? No, you're usually having a hard time, right? That's because all this body area, this surface area, is just pressing up against the water as you move. So because sharks are very streamlined, it helps them kind of slice through the water. Yeah, so all of these characteristics are adaptations to help these sharks swim fast. Now remember, an adaptation is something that an animal has or their body structure or they're born with that helps them survive in their habitat. And sharks' habitat happens to be the ocean. So having a hydrodynamic body helps them move through that oceanic environment. An amazing adaptation that helps them move around and be those incredibly fast swimmers. And we've got some more questions coming in. Oh, do sharks feel pain? Now I'm going to send this one out to the studio. We're going to confer. Yes, they're all looking at me. Yes. They do have a nervous system. So sharks do have a brain and a nerve system moving through. So just like our nerves move through our body, yeah, sharks can absolutely feel pain. It's one of the ways that you can sense your environment, right? What is the biggest shark? I love this. Now, the biggest shark in the ocean is a whale shark. Now, sometimes people get confused. Is it a whale? Is it a shark? Well, it's called a whale shark because it is a shark the size of a whale. But how do we know it's a shark and not a whale? Think about those characteristics we talked about earlier. That's right, everyone. They have gills. So because it has gills, that makes it a shark or a fish, right? And not a mammal like a whale. Now, this is a pretty cool example we've got right here. So I said it's the largest shark, right? Everybody open your mouth as wide as you can like a whale shark. Ah, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? So this is a whale shark jaw. Look, you can see it hanging out right here in the picture. Now, you might be looking at this jaw and thinking, well, what would an animal like this eat, right? I wonder what kind of food they prefer. Well, looking at it, you'll notice, I'm losing my mic here, you'll notice that they don't have a whole lot of big teeth, so they're probably not biting into anything. But instead, what whale sharks do is they're what we call a filter feeder. So they open their mouth, and they're going to take in plankton and krill and all sorts of little critters drifting through our ocean, and then they just swallow it whole, and they can eat so much plankton in one day. That's how they stay nice and full, right? Pretty incredible. Okay. Why is there a fish on its face? Well, this is called a remora, okay? And that fish, they have pectoral fins, but those fins are kind of modified into little suckers right on the bottom of their chest. And they hold onto these sharks, and they kind of use them almost like public transportation, right? They're using it, they're hanging onto the shark. The shark is cruising through the ocean, and the fish is just hanging on and taking advantage of the movement and taking advantage of getting food, right? So it's sort of a relationship between the shark and this bony fish that hangs out. The next question is, what sharks live at your aquarium? We have a lot of different shark species here, and I'm so glad you asked, because some of those sharks that we have are actually some of those weirdos I talked about that aren't the stereotypical gray shark. So let's check it out. First, let's jump back to Shark Lagoon. I threw Carrie a curveball there. She's pulling it up. All right. So this one right here, that's a gray reef shark. We have 3 gray reef sharks inside of our Shark Lagoon exhibit. Let's see the next one to come by. Looks like we've got a couple gray ones back there. Looks like this is another gray reef shark. Now the one that's coming up, you'll notice it's a little bit lighter, and it also has some distinct markings on the tips of its fins right there. That is a black-tipped reef shark. So there's a lot of different reef shark species, but here we have the gray and the black tip. Now you might have also heard of a white-tip reef shark. We don't have any here at the moment, but that is another common aquarium shark. And then let's see, the one that I really want to highlight in here, I don't think we have, oh, it's hiding right back here. Oh, there it is. Now that's not the same body type, definitely not the same colors. Let's see if Carrie can pull up a photo of that shark. That is called a zebra shark. I said zebra shark. That's got leopard spots, right? But my friends, when this shark is a baby, it actually has black and white stripes just like a zebra. So that's where we give it its common name. Now you'll notice that the zebra shark does not fit that shark stereotype. It's not gray. It's not long and lengthy like those reef sharks. In fact, zebra sharks like this one, they are often found resting on the bottom of the ocean. There's 2 different kinds of sharks out there as far as movement goes. One of them is a ram ventilator. And what that means is they are ramming water over their gills. So they are constantly swimming in order to maintain that oxygen that they need. Those are typically going to be those real slender gray ones, like our reef sharks that we were just looking at. Now, this one, on the other hand, you'll notice right behind their eyes, boop, that's called a spiracle. Now, a spiracle acts like a pump. You'll notice the belly of this shark is quite flat, and our zebra sharks can lay on the ocean floor, pumping water out and over their gills, which are right here. So these are pump ventilators, and that allows them to lay down on the bottom and rest for a bit. So different body type for different lifestyles, whether they're constantly swimming or whether they're able to lay down. So those are the 3 different shark species that we have in Shark Lagoon. We do have one more that's currently in a holding exhibit on the side. That is Big Guy. He is our sand tiger shark. Now, Big Guy is the largest shark that we have here at the aquarium, and look how happy he is about that. You can see Big Guy's got different teeth than some of the sharks we've been looking at, especially from that whale shark. Big Guy's got these nice, long, slender teeth, a very toothy grin right here, right? Sharks often don't close their mouths all the way. You can usually get some sort of glimpse of their teeth right here. But these teeth, what do you think that shark might eat? Do you think it's feeding on plankton drifting through the ocean? No, I don't think so either. Now, a shark that has pointy teeth like this, they're usually going to be using them to grab onto things or to catch slippery items. What slippery things might be found in the ocean? Yeah, that's right. The list goes on and on and on. However, our sand tiger sharks are usually eating some sort of fish. They'll usually catch it and swallow that fish whole. So again, sand tiger shark. Now, that was the zebra, the reef, the sand tiger. We've got a couple other sharks here. And I'm not sure if we have photos of them. I'll let Carrie pull them up if we do. But we have a couple smaller shark species. And that's right, I said smaller. In fact, they're so small that if they were standing on their tail next to me, you wouldn't even be able to see them. We have horn sharks here, and we have swell sharks here, both of which don't get any more than 4 feet in length. In fact, a lot of sharks are under 5 feet. The average shark size is only about my height, and I'm 5'7", so it could be even a little bit smaller. Now, Big Guy probably makes up like 5 of those sharks, right? Carrie's looking through our pictures here to see if we have any pictures of those smaller sharks. If not, perfect. Oh, these are my favorite, which is perfect because one of the questions that came in is, what is your favorite shark? I am very partial to the horn shark. This is a horn shark. It looks like a pretty young one based on the coloration and the roughness of its skin. So what do you notice about this shark? Is this something that you were expecting to show up on the screen here? Yeah, it definitely doesn't fit that stereotype we were looking at, right? I think what I love about horn sharks is their eyes. So horn sharks are a type of cat shark, is that right? Yes. And they have very distinct eyes right here. And I also love these big ridges right above them, right? It kind of gives them like personality. And so I also love the roughness and the color pattern of their skin. And this little thing right here, that's their mouth. And it looks like they've got little lips, right? So horn sharks, they don't have a toothy grin like big guy. Instead, horn sharks have very different teeth. And I'm going to see if I can pull out a horn shark jaw to show you. Or at least one similar. Zebra shark. All right. So we're going to turn on what's called a document camera. We're going to check it out. Now, this is not a horn shark jaw. This is a zebra shark jaw, but they're actually very similar. So it works because we've taken a look at both of these sharks. Let me zoom in and show you what's going on here. Adjust the lighting. All right. So these are the little teeth that you might find in a zebra shark or a horn shark. Now, you can imagine with these teeth, they're not out there eating seals or sea lions like a great white might be. They're not really out there eating plankton like a whale shark either. They're definitely not out there like the guy with that toothy grin catching slippery fish. But you'll notice that these jaws right here, our horn shark and our zebra shark, they're pretty sturdy, right? They've got these tiny little teeth, so they are definitely able to catch slippery things. But they've also got these strong jaws, and really the teeth are so small that it almost creates a flat spot right here. And that's because these jaws are used for crushing, okay? Now, zebras and horn sharks, they both eat a variety of invertebrates. Invertebrates are animals without a backbone. So animals like octopus, like sea urchins, like clams and crabs. A lot of these animals have hard exterior exoskeletons or shells that might be protecting them. And so these teeth are able to and hold on to that slipperiness that might be found within that protective barrier, right? The shell or the exoskeleton. So again, you can tell just based off the couple of conversations we've had today that you can explore and discover a lot about a shark when it comes to their teeth. You can find out what their diet might be. You can even kind of get an idea of what their lifestyle is, right? If you're catching invertebrates, are you swimming on the surface of the ocean? No, probably not. A lot of our snails and crabs, they're all hanging out on the sea floor, right? And so sharks like this are also hanging out on the sea floor. Now, for our great white that we had on the screen earlier, that shark, they have those real big teeth. They're out there looking for marine mammals, right? Or large fish. And so they're going to be cruising the oceans. They're not typically found laying on the seafloor. They are what we call ram ventilators, meaning they're always moving and they're looking for that larger prey item. Now, again, that's all just by looking at their teeth, right? So again, we can discover so much just by exploring the little details. Now, a couple more things about sharks. Again, if you have any questions, we've got 5 more minutes for you to send those questions in. Let's go ahead and check out some of our favorite videos, though. We are going to explore Global Finprint. Remember, I said Global Finprint was an organization that we partner with to do shark research. Now, Global Finprint, check this out. Before we were looking at Shark Lagoon. Shark Lagoon is an exhibit that we have here at the aquarium. And as you can see, it was modeled after a real site or a real habitat, which is this coral reef habitat. You can see all of these coral pieces down here. But there's a couple differences in here. This is actually filmed out in the open ocean. So this is not from an aquarium. This is what it looks like if you were to go scuba diving, plop down in one spot, and wait. Now this is a BRUV, a baited remote underwater video. So you'll see on this side of the screen here, we have kind of a little container, and there's bait in there, right? Baited, remote, that means it's out in the middle of nowhere, underwater video. So basically we have this long pole right here with the bait attached, and back here, or I guess back there, there's a camera, okay? And what we do, and what Global Finprint does, is they have these BRUVs set up all over the world. And they're capturing this underwater video to explore shark populations and shark dynamics and to get an understanding of what's happening out in our oceans. Now, I have a question for you. By watching these videos, by watching BRUV video and BRUV footage from all around the world, what do you think you can discover about sharks? What can we learn just by making observations like this? Now, that's a very open-ended question. I want you to just think about it, whether you text us in a response or chat with someone in your space, right? Wherever you may be. Now, I'm just going to share some observations I'm making while watching this video. I noticed that there's a lot of sharks, which sometimes I think of sharks as pretty solitary. But these look like reef sharks that might be working, maybe not working together, but they're shoaling together. Ooh, that's a fun word. A shoal. What exactly is that? Have you ever heard of a school of fish? Well, schools of fish are usually all moving the same direction, right? That's what a school of fish does. But a shoal of fish is a grouping of fish that are all hanging out in the same spot, but they're not moving the same way. So that's kind of what we see going on here. Who I noticed on that one that just went by, there was a remora, just like that whale shark we had. I also noticed that there's a lot of other fish moving around. Like, it doesn't seem like sharks are the only ones who are attracted to the BRUV. Now, I'll give you guys a little tip. This is a 10-hour video clip. So if you're at home, working on homework, or bored, or anything like that, and you're like, I really just need to get out, gotta be underwater. You can always turn this video on and explore these sharks and kind of check out what they're doing. You can also do that with our webcams here at the aquarium. We have a handful of webcams available in our tropical exhibit, in our blue cavern exhibit, in our shark lagoon. We've also got it in the penguin exhibit and our jellies, and you can check out all of these exhibits anytime you want. So again, if you ever feel like you need to get out, I think I might go on a shark scuba dive later, right? You can plop down right under here. And the amazing thing about Global Finprint is there's a lot of videos from all around the world. So this one's really long, but there's a couple other clips that you can check out. In fact, Carrie, go ahead and bring up another one. I know you got to throw me back in the studio to do that. Carrie's going to bring up another one, and we're going to see if we can find any other species or even any other non-shark animals that come. Ooh, she's scrolling through. She's like, oh my gosh, I have control of pulling up whatever I want, right? So again, I encourage you all to check out Global Finprint. And the way it works is, again, they take those BRUVs, and then volunteers, both from our aquarium and from other organizations, will watch this footage and take note of what shark species there are and what shark species, how many there are. Great observations, some questions coming in. And so we can learn a little bit about shark populations. Now, one of the questions was, why weren't the sharks eating the fish? That's a really great question. So there's a couple, ooh, that's not a shark. So there's a couple of reasons why those sharks might not be eating those fish. One, they could just not be on their diet, right? Sharks are usually going to go after something that is within their diet. Different species eat different things. It could also be a size thing, right? It could also be that they're just very focused on whatever is in that baited BRUV. There's a lot of reasons. So you'll notice that there's always sharks and fish in the oceans together. Did you see that eagle ray in the background of that footage? That was very cool. Now, as far as sharks at our aquarium, why aren't they eating the fish? Also a great observation and question. We are feeding our sharks on a very routine schedule. And believe it or not, sharks don't actually eat as often as we think we do. Sometimes when we think sharks, we're like, they're swimming and they're looking for food. That's not the case. Sharks can go days without eating. So sometimes they'll find a good meal, they'll take advantage of that meal, they'll store up, and then they're going to continue on. Excuse me, Mr. Turtle. Oh, this one's fun. Check that out. Now, is that a shark? Well, it's flexible. It's got gills. That was a ray. Now, sharks are actually a related species, rays are related. They are both part of that cartilaginous fish group. Now, that is most definitely not a shark. All right, my friends, so I hope you enjoyed exploring these shark videos with us and maybe getting those wheels turning. If you find yourself having any other questions, you're always welcome to email in to live@lbaop.org. We encourage you to continue learning about sharks and asking those questions. If there's anything else that you want to learn about them, please let us know. Thanks for participating. We're going to let the turtle say goodbye for us, coming in quick for a nice close-up. Oh, goodbye. So again, thanks so much for participating. Teachers out there, once again, if you could send us in the number of students you have watching with you, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Bye-bye.